Hi babies, I'm Abby.
And I'm Bailey. And yes, we're the Camp Sisters.
Welcome to Camp Chat, the podcast where we spiral weekly about literally everything and absolutely nothing.
We're talking weird childhood stories, unsolicited sister advice, true crime deep dives, and silly little things no one asked for.
And the occasional serious moment, but not often.
Think of it like a mega bed. You're cuddling up next to your favorite sisters and watching Training Train. If you know, you know.
We're here every week, or just whenever we feel like it, with new episodes full of stories, confessions, advice, and chaos.
So, run your bathwater, grab your pint of ice cream, and come spiral with us. Welcome to Camp Chat. Welcome back, Baddies.
Baddies. That's perfect because
I thought that was our title.
The title of our episode is about how we are entrepreneur baddies. What are we calling it again? I forgot already.
You texted it to me. I don't know.
We're calling it "What's It Like Being a Self-Employed Baddies." So,
That seems just perfect.
yeah. Yeah, so welcome back, baddies. Today you're no longer babies, you're baddies.
Here you go.
Bailey is currently multitasking, being a podcast host and also feeding her child.
He's here.
Also, we usually are going to be recording on Mondays, but today is Friday because I'm going on vacation next week, so it's going to be too difficult for us to record. And today is hectic. We have multiple meetings, and we're having to do this while Beckham's not napping, which is going to be a special little change of pace for us.
Yeah, he's occupied by Sing right now, but that might not last long, so.
Well, you want to know one thing I love about him is the way that he is totally fine watching movies and TV with the sound completely off.
I know, no, it's at 1 right now, and he's like...
I love that. That's such a gift.
It is a gift, for sure. Well, how's your week?
My week it's been really good. We're in Texas still, because it was literally just 3 days ago that we recorded the other podcast episode, or 4 days, whatever. It's been really sunshiny here, which has been awesome. I've taken so many walks, and most of my afternoons have been spent laying out in the sun on my yoga mat while listening to the Karen Reed trial while I work. So I'm sure we'll get into some updates there in a sec.
I need some updates because I haven't had time this week to listen at all.
Honestly, I don't really know if I have updates. I mean, the trial could take a long time. The first trial took 9 weeks. And this one, today's day 13. So it could be a minute. I mean, I've been watching the Crime Junkie Jury Duty podcast or YouTube channel for it, and I really like Brandy on there, and all of that community were all just annoyed because the people that they bring on the stand that are speaking for the prosecution, they're so certain about things. When the prosecution is asking them questions, they're 100% this happened. And then as soon as they get in front of the defense, Alan Jackson will ask a question, and they'll be he'll be were you the one that approved this report? And they'll be the sergeant will be what do you mean by report? And you're excuse me? It just feels like they're stalling, and I don't really understand why they're doing that because it just makes them look suspicious. I just feel like they were overly coached by the prosecution of here's how you need to respond to things, that they're so in their head.
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy though. I don't like the guy. I don't even know the name of him. I forget his name, but the new guy who's the prosecution attorney for the Commonwealth, he's the worst.
Yeah.
He's just rude.
Well,
But anyways, I'll report back when we know more. I mean, it's been a lot of similar stuff as the first trial. So I've only listened to 3 days of the trial, and it's very little information in those 3 days. It takes a long
I need
time.
just a recap. I need a TikTok or a podcast of just a recap.
I'm sure there's some TikToks out there. One thing about me though is I don't like TikTok and I don't have it.
I know, and you don't you send me a lot of reels, and I don't really get on reels.
Yeah, but I only see reels because Instagram's the only like social media platform that I get on.
No, I know. And I know like for like my work, I really only do reels.
Right.
But personal life, I can't get behind reels.
I think because I never got into TikTok, it's not curated for me. And so if I ever do get on there, it's like not stuff I enjoy watching, whereas my reels are very curated for me.
Yeah. I feel the opposite. Like, I feel like my TikTok's very, like, it knows what I want to see.
Well, I sent you a reel this morning that I think you would do with Beckham. Because it's like you put the, like, filter on the kid, and it's just their face on top of some fruit, and you have them pronounce whatever fruit that they're on, you know?
That's
so, like, are you watching it right now?
No.
Oh. Well, it was funny. Like, you know, it's like the kid's face on a banana, and the kid goes, Nana. And then there would be like blueberries, and he'd be like, blueberry. Oh, and then it put his face on a pancake, and the kid goes, no, no, no. I was like, oh, no to the pancake.
That's cute.
I know. So
I don't know how to do that, though.
I don't either. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Maybe on Tuesday when we see each other.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, we're seeing each other next.
Yeah, something fun is that Carson's family, like, we're all going on a trip to Branson, Missouri next week, like a family trip, and Bailey and Landon live like an hour and a half away, so I think they're gonna come up on Tuesday and stay high and hang for a bit, which is super fun.
Yeah, very spontaneous of us.
Very spontaneous. Well,
okay, let's get into it.
Today is a fun episode. We're getting into our jobs, as you can tell from the title, and my sister and I are both entrepreneurs. We are both, I guess I'm technically not self-employed anymore, but I started out that way and have gotten to a place where I'm no longer self-employed, which is kind of fun. So maybe let's start off by just giving like a quick background to like what we do and how we got into it.
Yeah. Do you want to start, or do you want me to?
I want you to start.
Okay. Okay, so I went to college at UTC in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I was all about being a nurse. Like, I was like, I want to be a nurse. I went in like straight for it. I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. I had no hesitation. Wait, are you frozen?
No.
You're frozen on my end, but okay. Okay. And then, okay, you're back now. And then one time I like failed an anatomy test, and I was like, this ain't me. This ain't
Also, I feel like this is a good part for me to kind of interrupt and say, who thought Billy would be a good nurse? Because that girl would like pass out just getting her flu shot.
No, I know. I used to.
The nurses, it was so dramatic. We'd like go to get our annual flu shot, and the nurses would have to like bring in crackers and Sprite because she'd be like blacking out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I had to do my glucose test yesterday, and had to get my blood drawn, and I did so good. I was so proud of myself. Come a long way.
Yeah.
Come a long way. But yeah, no, it definitely wasn't for me. But I just like, I don't know. My heart was like, yep, that's it. I had like no question about it going into it, and I should have questioned it.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I took an anatomy class and failed a test, and I was like, okay, it's over for me. And so I did like pre-nursing classes for a year. So was in like anatomy, chemistry, physiology, all the like stupid hard classes for pre-nursing. And and then I changed my major one day. I was like, nope, this ain't it. And I looked up best wedding planners in Chattanooga, and the first one that popped up was Wildflower, and that is who I started with. So I reached out to them, and they were like, yep, we're actually hiring. And so I met with them and got like added onto their team as an intern right away. and worked with them for 5 years. So I think I did like 87 weddings with them.
What?
A lot, yes. And so,
Wait, I think did you say like what made you interested in wedding planning, or did you just kind of
oh no, I was like, what would I always want to do? Like, what would be like my dream job if I had to pick anything? And then that's why I was like, wedding planning. But it kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, were you planning your own wedding at the time?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
I wasn't even I think I was about to be engaged, but I wasn't engaged. And so, yeah. And so then I got pregnant with Beckham in 2022, and it just got really hard on my body. Like those long wedding days, being pregnant and not eating and not drinking and being on your feet all day. It's just a lot. Like I did my last wedding 2 weeks ago before baby, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm thankful this is my last before baby, because it killed me for the next like week.
I can attest, she was quite literally dead when she got back, and your ankles were so swollen.
So swollen. And the doctors don't really want me traveling anymore. Like I was talking to my doctor yesterday about how swollen I got. She was like, yeah, you're done. And I was like, I am done. And so then I just took a break until I had Beckham. And then I didn't know how long of a break I was going to actually take. I actually got hired on. Do you remember I got hired on with a company called Baddies? And I was like a virtual assistant for people.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I did that like pretty soon, like into like having Beckham. And then I never actually got a client with them. Like I waited like 4 months and never got like a client. And so I was like, okay, I give up. And so then I think I called Abby one day and I was like, I think I want to start a wedding planning company. And
yes, you called me and I was at Dose, a coffee shop in Nashville. And I was like, and I do this often, but I literally was like, okay, that sounds great. I had been wanting her to do start her own company for a while.
Yeah.
And right then and there, I put together like a example brand guide of like, here's what it could, because I always have found like, it's so fun to see like the visuals of what your business could look like. And so I put together something like in like 10 minutes and sent it over, and you just like adopted it. Like you just
I was
went
like, all
with
right,
that brand
cool.
name.
Like she even came up with the name Gathered, and like I was just like, yep, that's it. All right. Sounds good. Like I did not have any input at all. And then it was on like a random Tuesday, I think. So ended up like starting that pretty fast, and it honestly just kind of like took off. I told Abby, I remember telling her like my first year, I was like, my first year I hope to do like, what was it? Like my goal was like 2 weddings. And I think I did around 20 in my first year. Which was just like insane. But so cool to see like how the Lord, like it was what was meant to be, and like it was it's what happened, and like how just things took off with it. And then like since starting, we have executed, I put the numbers together the other day, and it's like we've executed 35 weddings and we have 18 on the books. So
Crazy.
It's so like insane to see how it's all like come to fruition over the last year and a half. And just how cool that's been.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of learning in it for sure. Day-to-day roles, I feel like every day looks different, which I think is part of like, it's my favorite part about it. No one day is like the same as the next. And so I typically get up around 5 to do like start emails and stuff like that. And
your job is a lot of emails.
it's a lot of emails. Like I think I got my emails down to 0 like last night before clocking out, and it's already back up to almost 30. And it's like all stuff that I like need to like go and do something else for it. Like, it's not something I can just be like, hey, yep, that's good. It's like, okay, you want to change this, I got to go contact this person.
Yeah, that stresses me. I could never do your job, Billy. Like, I actually have worked a couple weddings with you, and it's just, like, not for me.
That's okay. It's not for everybody. But that's like what I think is hard to, like, a misconception about my job is like that it's just fun all the time.
No,
And
it's so hard.
it can be hard. It can be hard, especially like wedding days are just long and hard. But they're also so fun. So you really have to have like a heart about it. Like when I have people reach out and they're like, hey, I would love to like intern with you. I'm like, hey, let's like talk about what that looks like, you know? And like, do you really want to intern? And do you know what like a true intern is? Kind of thing, because it's a lot to just like come in and like do for free, you know?
Totally. You know what's funny?
What?
I feel like I forget this a lot, but whenever I was in high school, I was probably like a junior or senior in high school, probably junior.
I remember.
I interned with a wedding planner in town, and I hated it. I really thought I wanted to do wedding planning. Like, I really thought that would be for me when I was in high school, and it only took a couple months of me interning with this with this woman to just be like, no, not for me. I remember there was a wedding that this bride wanted like purple tulle everywhere.
Yeah.
And like glitter, and I had to like help like DIY a lot of like the stuff for it. And I was like, ew, I hate the vibes of this. And I have to like execute this. No, ma'am. And then I also watched the woman that I interned under go through a divorce because she like basically gave up on her marriage because she like was gone every weekend for weddings, and I was like, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not the vibe.
It's not.
But I like to
You're
say,
healthy, and
yeah,
you're not. So
no, I feel bad because whenever an intern reaches out to me and they're like, I would love to like do stuff with you, you know, like work with you, and it's like, I feel like I not like go into like a negative space, but I'm like, hey, I just really want you to know what that looks like. It sometimes is like taking out trash at the end of the night and getting alcohol dumped on you. There's sometimes like, you know, if somebody gets sick, like a guest gets sick, that's sometimes our job.
Yeah.
Like on wedding day to like clean that up. And it's like, he's really loving me putting this sweatshirt over his head. So that's what we're currently doing. But all that to say, like, I do have so many glamorous parts of my job, and it's so fun, and I love what I do, but you do have to be passionate about it to really love it, and it's not for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, there's my, like, quick little overview. So we have wedding planner Billy, and then you have me, who's in nonprofit work, and that's been a fun little journey to get to. So yeah, my quick little Cliff Note version is I started college, well, now you know, in high school I interned with a wedding planner and decided that wasn't for me. I also really thought I would do art for a long time, like painting kind of art in college, and the closer I got to like going to college, I was like, well, that kind of feels silly to go spend that much money at a university just to learn a skill that like I could learn not in college, you know? Yeah.
And so I decided not to go the art route, but I also went to UT Chattanooga my freshman year and was undecided. I was undecided my whole freshman year. Like, I didn't claim a major.
Yeah.
And then Ollie.
Ollie.
What's up? Can you mute yourself?
Huh?
Can you mute yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, slay. She's still here, but like we gotta eliminate Ollie right now. So then, okay, yeah. So went to UTC my freshman year. Spent that next summer. So I spent 3 months in Ethiopia that summer, and that was a really pivotal part of my journey. That was when I first learned about this thing called business as mission, which is truly my passion. I got to shadow some business owners that summer and got to see the impact that business can have in people's lives. And it really shifted the way that I looked at missions as a whole, because we grew up, like our family, we went on mission trips at least like once a year, Honduras, Liberia. Like we had done a lot of mission stuff locally as well. And all good things, but business as mission really stirred up my feelings towards charity and really made me see like, oh, I think there's actually like a more sustainable way to help people rather than just giving them a meal one time. You know what I mean? And so that's what led me to transfer universities. So I transferred to Lipscomb University in Nashville. It's a small Christian university. And that's where I majored in business as mission. They had a specific program for that, which was really, really attractive to me at the time and still is. It's changed the course of everything for me. And so spent the final years of my undergrad at Lipscomb. It's where I met my husband, all the things. And I loved it there. And then also during my time there, my senior year at Lipscomb, I met a woman named Lauren Pinkston, who quickly became a close friend of mine. And we started dreaming up this idea of launching an organization that really existed to do business as mission and to inform people of business as mission. So I was finding, I was in this business as mission, or I'm going to call it BAM from here on out because that's what we call it. And you guys know what BAM stands for now. So like I existed in this BAM circle in Nashville where everyone kind of knew about it, knew what it was. But then if I talked with people that didn't exist in that circle, sometimes people were really struggling to understand like business, like how is that missional or how can that be impactful? And not just from a perspective of giving back your profits to good things, which is honestly very like important to most businesses these days. Like almost every business is going to have some kind of giving arm of what they do. And that's amazing. That's a part of BAM, but it's not BAM as a whole. Really, BAM exists to further the kingdom of God through the actual facilitation of the business. And so it's how you treat your employees. It's the kind of benefits that you're having. It's where you source your products from. It's how you treat your suppliers. It's all these different like levels. And so me and Lauren launched an organization called Kindred Exchange, and it existed for that very purpose, to do business training and to educate people on what BAM was all about. And to really challenge like normal missions systems. And so, or traditional mission systems, I should say. And so we launched that actually in 2020, which was right when I graduated college. Special timing for me. No one was hiring. I really did not think I was gonna, even though I majored in like missional entrepreneurship, I didn't think I was gonna like go out of college and immediately be an entrepreneur. I thought I would have to like work for an organization or work for a business and then kind of save up and then launch my own thing. But the Lord said, no, you're going to do this right now. And so as we were starting Kindred, I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to try out the whole fundraising a salary thing, which was really, really hard. I fundraised $30,000 for a salary, which is a small salary, but was the most doable thing I could come up with for fundraising.
Yeah.
And
that's still like so amazing to like fundraise that much money too.
Yeah, in a year.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It was daunting for sure. But I also felt like it was such an amazing experience too. Like it taught me, which now I still do a ton of fundraising for the organization. And I couldn't have done that without that year of like learning what it looks like to partner with people and to get over this fear of asking for money. Because it's not all about just asking for money. It's really this, I had to like reframe it and see fundraising as like, we all have different things that we bring to the table, to the kingdom of God. And like, for me at the time, I was young, I wasn't married yet, I didn't have much money, but I had a ton of time and capacity on my hands. So that's what I could offer. Whereas someone like my grandparents, they don't have the energy and health to be like going and serving all the time, or, they don't have the capacity even. Maybe for people that are working, they don't have the time to be able to give to serving, but they have the money. And so really it was reframing of like, I have this to bring to the table, who can partner with me to help fund it? Right. And that's what got me there. So the first several years of Kindred, I won't lie, I'm sure we'll get into this, but they were very hard, very, very hard. As you can imagine, starting an organization, we were a small team. it was just hard. I won't go too much into that right now, but it was really challenging.
Right.
In the middle of that, I actually started a company called Ember Designs because so my sweet spot in the business world is more from a marketing and branding perspective. Like I love the visual sides of running a business. I can do all the operation sides too, but like I thrive in the marketing side. And so as Kindred was growing, I wasn't getting paid a ton. So I only fundraised my salary the first year. That next year I was able to start taking a bit of a paycheck, but it was only like a part-time paycheck. And so I started Ember Designs to kind of supplement income and was doing some brand and website design stuff for clients. And that was similar to Gathered. It like came hot and heavy, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was like I thought maybe it would just be like this little part-time gig, and in my first year I had like 33 clients, which is insanity.
Yeah.
That year was like so difficult. I was working all the time and I was not okay. And so, you know, the past couple of years has just been this process of like if I'm going to do some design stuff, what does that look like? How can I balance that with the nonprofit work? Because the nonprofit work is definitely more like my heart, whereas like I feel like the design stuff is more just my natural like skill set. And so my history is really long. I'm going to kind of skim through the rest. So then Kindred Exchange, we actually just merged with another organization in March, like a couple months ago. And so we're now called Seed International, and Kindred came under that other organization called Seed. And so it's still Kindred. It's still all the things that we've done, but it's with another organization. And long story short, my life is so much better now, and
I can tell you're a lot like happier.
I'm so much happier. I feel a weight lifted off my shoulders. I was running a lot of things by myself when it was Kindred, and now I have 2 other women that are full-time with me, plus several part-time people, and then several board members that are very involved. And so my day-to-day right now is mostly marketing, which I love. I'm the director of marketing and communications for Seed, and so I do a lot of emails, a lot of web design, a lot of branding stuff, and merchandise design and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Beck. Do you even see me? You see me?
Say Abby. Say hi.
Beckham, say Abba. Okay.
Yeah, no, I feel like you went from like having so much on your plate to like now really getting to hone in on the things that you love.
My life is so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
It got to a point where like, which I think everyone knows this too, but I spent the 6 months last year living in Uganda, me and Carson did, and that was really the turning point for Kindred, where I was like, I cannot do this anymore.
Right.
Like something has to change. And that's when the opportunity to merge with Seed kind of came up, and I was like, we got to take this. Either we merge with Seed, or I can't do this anymore. And if I can't do this, at the time I was like kind of running the show. It was like, if I can't do this, I fear it will crumble.
Right.
But no, all good things now.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Hey, Beck, do you want to say anything to the followers?
Do you want to say anything? You want to say hi? No.
Well, okay, that's fine. So let's talk through some misconceptions, because this is one of me and Billy's favorite little rants.
Yeah, there's a lot of like misconceptions about our job specifically, but also just like entrepreneurship in general.
Yeah.
And we're gonna share some of our personal favorites.
Yeah. Why don't you start us off? Because I feel like the first one is more your thing.
Okay, yes. The first misconception is you can spend money on everything, on anything. Everything is a write-off. I one time met a couple for a meeting, like it was out of town meeting, and I met them and was like, I was driving a really nice rental car, like for some reason, like they upgraded me, which I don't know why, but they upgraded
chaos
me.
today, folks.
Yes. They upgraded me to like a really nice car, and he was like, dang, I bet you just like, I mean, everything's a write-off, so you can just like pay for anything, can't you? And I was like, well, that's not really how it works. But it's just funny to me because everybody thinks that, like, just because you can write it off, it's, like, free, you know? And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Trust me, the IRS, I just paid them a big check. It's not how that works, unfortunately. But I wish.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is on here, but you do have to pay taxes when you're self-employed. I think some people think you don't have to, but you do. And it just requires you setting aside, like, the recommended amount is 30%, which is a chunk, you guys. Like, that's a chunk. Yeah. 30% goes into a savings account for taxes, and then at the end of the year, you do your taxes, and you pull from that savings account to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
So, and you can write off several things, which is helpful, but it's not like you can just write off everything.
Right. It's like business expenses though. So you still have to pay like rental cars. Rental cars, I did not turn 25 too long ago. And you had to have a fee if you if you're
under 25.
If you're under 25. And so I was paying like $900 for rental cars.
Stop. Oh my gosh, Billy, no.
Yeah. Which, because I'm 25 now, so much better. I just rented through Turo, and I think I spent like $175 for like 3 days.
I can't believe you spent that much on a rental car.
It's because of all the fees. All the fees
that
came with me being under 25.
I hate that for you.
Yeah. So, yeah. All that to say, $900 was still coming out of my bank account for the rental car.
Yeah, and like being self-employed, you have business expenses. Like, it's not just like every amount of money that gets paid to you. I don't understand why sometimes this doesn't click with people, but it's like we have business expenses. So it's not like if we're charging $1,000 for something, it's not like we pocket $1,000. No. We pocket very little of that when it goes to taxes and then business expenses.
Taxes, business expenses, staffing, travel.
Yeah.
All the things.
Okay, another personal fave of mine is when people say, you can take off anytime you want since you work for yourself. That's so nice. And to that, we say, oh, you silly little goose.
You silly goose. No. The work still has to get done. The clients still want to be responded to.
Especially you, because you really are you really do have to be way more available than I do.
Yeah, especially if it's like a bride that her wedding's coming up. Like, it's definitely like there's deadlines and there's things that have to be met as far as that goes. But like, I will say, like, it is a perk being able to do our job from anywhere, because we are able, like, next week when we're going to Branson, it's like, okay, I have like a meeting each day, but it's like, I'm just going to take that meeting from Branson.
Right.
It's going to be fine, you know?
Yeah.
But it does still suck, like, having to, like, I don't know, it's hard to give yourself that time off too. Because you do want to be available for your clients. And I think also when it's your business, you feel a lot more like emotionally attached to.
Yeah, it's your baby.
It's your baby. And you like want everybody to be happy with you. And so like you don't want to like upset anybody if you take a couple days to respond. And so it can be hard to like have boundaries.
Right. And especially if you don't have a big team or any team, like all the work falls on you. So if you're not working, the business stalls.
Right.
I especially have had to, this one's funny, just considering my lifestyle the past like year. I'm like traveling all the time. Like if I had the excuse of like, oh, I'm going on a trip, so I can't work, I would never work. Like I'm literally always traveling. I'm always in new spots. I'm always seeing people and like visiting with people. So like I can't just be like, you know, sorry, I'm taking off. I will say I have a lot more flexibility now that I work with Seed, because there's some other people on my team that are full-time, and that has been such a gift. And I'll just say, like, there's always going to be pros and cons to everything. There's pros and cons to a corporate 9-to-5. There's pros and cons to entrepreneurship. And we're kind of talking through some of the cons right now. We'll definitely get to the pros. But it's not for everyone. Like you said, like it's just not for everyone. And for me, like I love business, I love entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
and there's some parts that I really, in a way, kind of miss about like running things by myself. I mean, you kind of have full autonomy to make decisions and things like that. But in this season of my life, I'm very grateful to not be hustling as much as I was the
Yeah.
first couple years.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's funny too because like me and Landon always talk like love him, love that boy to death. It's our 5-year anniversary, by the way. Happy 5 years.
Anniversary.
Thank you. But like he could not work for himself, and he knows that. Like he doesn't have the personality or like the drive for himself to
Yeah.
be able to like have a disciplined schedule. Whereas like with me, sometimes it's hard to like have the disciplined schedule to have boundaries, you know?
Yeah,
And
for
so there's really like a certain person it takes to want to do entrepreneurship, but also to be able like to have like the characteristics and the personality you need to do
Yes.
that as well.
And I think some of it can be learned too. Like it's funny because if you would have asked me 4 years ago if Carson would be fully like self-employed, I probably wouldn't have thought so. But
Right.
he's just like really thriving in it right now, and he is in more of the hustling stage, but he's doing so well. And I would have never thought we'd both be self-employed. I didn't even know if that would be possible financially, but the Lord is paving the way for us.
Absolutely. As he does.
And in some ways, I'm like, is it possible financially? I don't know. No, but it's fine. We're making it. We're good.
Yeah, for sure.
We also haven't paid rent in like 6 months, so that does help.
For sure. Our rent just went up. And then we're also like about to have a baby, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
fair enough.
My goodness.
So Billy, what do you say to people when they come up to you and they're like, "Oh, your job, it's just like," okay, maybe they wouldn't say this, but essentially they're implying that your job is just a hobby, like it's not a real job. Like for example, I've had some people, I won't name names. I've had some people of the older generation ask me before if oh, are you still doing that fun little like
Side gig?
that fun little thing that you do, like literally that fun little thing you do. I'm like, oh, my job? Yes.
Right. Yes. No, I am. No, I think this one might be the one that can get me going the most.
Get going, girl.
I think I've had personal experiences where people assume that like it is a hobby, and then also some people that maybe don't expect it to have some of the like job standards that like say Landon does. You know, it's like, oh, Bailey can do whatever at any time because she doesn't have a real job. She has a hobby, you know? And so I think this is the one that gets me going the most, but it's something that like helps pay our bills. It's something that supports our family. It like provides a service to someone and a relationship that like forms between people. And
it provides income for other people. Like you have wedding planners that work for you, and volunteers, or not volunteers, but like interns or people that come and work day of events. Like
Right. And it's something, I think it's hard when it's something that people can be passionate about in a job because they just like assume that it is more of a hobby and not something that actually provides for our family.
Yeah. And you know, on the other side of that, you do have to kind of be careful, because if your job is something that you're really passionate about, it can sometimes suck the life out of you a little bit if you're not good with boundaries, because like it can be something that like if you did have another full-time job, you would maybe still do this as a hobby, but since it's your full-time job, you have to be careful not to let it suck you of all of your energy and all of your life.
No, I mean, sometimes I do get jealous of like people that are able to go to a job and then like come home and like completely like not even be expected to like, you know, like answer an email or a text, you know, if it is like an urgent thing. But like since they're clocked out, like that's not even something people would ask of them. I don't know. And so that can be really hard on this side of things too.
Totally. We kind of already talked about this, but if people think that you're rolling in the cash because you own a business, you are, well, I mean, fair enough that you think it, but also you're really mistaken, especially if they're early on in their business, because a lot of times to start a business, some people don't even take paychecks the first couple of years, or if you do, it's very slim, or if you're me, you fundraise the first year or whatever.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so it takes time, and I do think there is a lot of potential for growth, like financial growth, the longer that you stay in it, and it can sometimes exceed what you would maybe have from a 9 to 5 corporate job, but it definitely takes time.
For sure. Yeah.
And like we said, there's all kinds of business expenses that go into it.
Right. And it's something you definitely have to have like a lot of patience for. I remember my first year of Gathered, I was just like, I was really bummed if I didn't get like a lead that month, or if I only got 1 or 2 leads that month. And it's like, it really does take time to get your name out there and get your business up and running the way that it needs to be. And Abby, you can kind of talk about this coming from like a website and brand role, but it's like, it really just does take time for the SEO to like stand out to brides and like potential clients. And it's something that you have to be patient with.
It's literally a child. Like you're literally growing this child.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the note, so this is more for the nonprofit people out there, but if I could tell you how many times people have made comments of like, oh, you get paid for working at a nonprofit?
Yeah.
I'm like, do you think everyone who works for a nonprofit works for free?
Not sustainable.
No, ma'am. I mean, churches are nonprofits. Do you think that all the people on your church staff work for free? No. Why are we thinking that way? I've been asked that a lot, and I'm like, and maybe part of it is I fundraised my salary the first year, so maybe that like skewed people's expectations, but I don't know. It's just like, it's annoying to me. It's like,
Yeah.
a nonprofit exists to further a mission, but for that mission to be furthered, it involves people, and people can't do things for free because they can't live for free.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
So-
for sure. And I think you could probably talk a little bit more about this, like just with you and Carson both being entrepreneurs, but another misconception is like, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur because it doesn't provide insurance or benefits for your family. And what's like your response to that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's been a special one. First of all, it's 2025 and there's a lot of people that are self-employed, and it's not like you can't get insurance otherwise. Like you have to have a corporate job to get insurance. Like there's
like, obviously in a corporate job you're still like
you're still paying for
you're
it.
still paying for it.
It just comes out of your paycheck.
Yeah. You might just not like go get it separately, but your job gets it for you and it comes out of your paycheck.
Yeah, and I will just say, everything comes down to being wise with your money, smart with your money, whether you work in a corporate job or you work for yourself, and setting up, financial strategies for retirement or to support your family or whatever, to provide medical insurance. Like, that all comes down to personal discipline and decisions, whether it's through your company or not. Like, you're either checking the box on the company paperwork saying, yes, I want this, or if you're self-employed, sometimes you have to take the steps a little bit further to do your own research. But like, it's all there. It all exists. We can testify to that because me and Carson are both self-employed now, and our insurance is being paid for like through like the marketplace. And we've, we also did a lot of the stuff that came with Carson's 9 to 5 corporate job, like before he was self-employed. We really invested in so that we would have a good start to retirement, so that we could both be self-employed one day, because we really did have this dream of this. And we don't have kids yet, but one of our dreams is like, we want to be able to like take care of our kids throughout the day. Like we've talked about, it would be really cool, because I think there is a perk to self-employment where it's like, you don't necessarily have to work 8 hours a day. Like, if you can have 4 hours of really honed in work, then you're going to get way more done than someone at a 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
You just
That's
are.
Something I think about all the time. Like, I had to be out of the house for like over 8 hours yesterday, and I came home, I was like, I'm not meant for this. Like,
No.
I'm not built for that anymore. I used
No.
to do that without even thinking of it, but it's like, it's something that I've really realized I'm so thankful for. Like, I can be at home and wake up a couple hours before Beckham, or like do it during his nap, or even stay up a little bit later and like get so much done in that time. And I
Yeah.
just realized how much time I'm like saving from not having a 9 to 5
Totally.
kind of thing.
And Carson said that too. Like coming from a corporate job, he was like, I get way more done in a few hours working for myself than I did all day long at my 9 to 5. And
Yeah.
it's just because you're honed in, and
Yeah.
I guess that's where boundaries come in, because as a self-employed person, it'd be really easy. Your work is endless. Like the to-do list never stops. So it'd be really easy to like work 8 hours a day and never stop. But it's like you gotta there's a lot of hard things about being self-employed. So
Yeah.
like enjoy the perks of it, because there are perks, and that's what's gonna make it worth it. So,
Right.
a lot of times we work, 4, maybe 5 hours a day, or sometimes less, depending on the day. And so our goal is to, when we have kids, be able to kind of trade off like mornings and afternoons. And then we don't have to like pay for childcare as much. I'm sure we'll do it some, but we won't have to pay for childcare as much. And so maybe we're making less than what we'd be making if we were both working corporate 9 to 5s with benefits and all that stuff. But then we've got these other trade-offs that we would have been making. You know what I mean? So it's all about trade-offs and what's worth it.
Absolutely. And like you said, there's the to-do list is endless. I've had to really learn how to I write out my list. This was my list yesterday. It was actually really long, but I write out my list. I know, don't look at it. I actually write out my list of every day. Like I have a master to-do list on my phone of like everything that needs to get done, and then each day I get pen to paper and I'm like, here's the things that I need to get done today. And then if I don't get it done like that day, the next day is like, that's my first priority, is whatever I didn't get done the day before. And I can't add anything to the list until those things are done, because it's easy to be like, oh, I just got an email, I gotta go like do this, but then you don't get the other things that you had planned for today done.
Exactly.
And so it's a balance for sure.
For sure. What's Bebek doing? I hear him rustling about.
Yeah, you don't want to know. All the Cheez-Its are on the floor. I'll just get a vacuum cleaner, no worries.
No worries. Okay, well, yeah, those are some good misconceptions. I'm thinking let's round out our time by just going through like kind of quicker checklist. What are our favorite things about our jobs? Because that was a lot of the like negative sides, but there's some big perks to our jobs.
Yeah.
So why don't
And
you
we're
go
already at
first?
47 minutes, so.
Yeah. Wrapping it up.
Yeah. I think I already said this, but getting to work from anywhere is a big perk. Staying home and being part of like Beckham's school activities, kind of like what you were saying earlier, like it's super nice because if I know about it in advance, I can like adjust my schedule to be present and at those things. Like I am coming out with a day in my life on my Instagram next week, and it's crazy because you can just see me like bouncing from thing to thing. And it's kind of chaotic, and I'm like, I don't know how I did it. But it's like I was at Beckham's school thing, and then I went to work, and then I was at my OB appointment, and then I went back to work, and then I was at my like picking up Beckham, and then I went back to work. So it's like it really is just the best of both worlds of like also getting to be at home and working for myself. But it can be hard sometimes to be like fully present at both if you're trying to bounce from thing to thing. Another thing is just like building meaningful connections with people. I definitely like that side of it, just like getting to hear about the love stories that come in, and also just like getting to like know their families and go out to dinner with their families and things like that. That's part.
You're so cute and relational. Like I was listening to Bailey do a call with a couple the other day, and she walked out and I was like, I also just couldn't do your job because, and I got in trouble for saying this, but I was like, I can't do your job because I just like don't care that much about people's love stories. I just feel like they're kind of cringe and cheesy, and it's just like not for me. I'm not gonna be the person who's gonna be like, oh, that is so sweet. Or if I do, I probably am just kind of playing along with it. I don't know, like love stories are cute, I guess, but I've just never or in my later years, like in high school, I loved a good like romance movie, but I don't watch like romance movies anymore. Like they're just cheesy to me, and I don't know what happened to me. But you're much more into people's lives
Yeah,
than I am.
for sure. For sure.
I love that about you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, and then I said like wedding days is truly where I see like myself thrive. I feel like whenever I'm at wedding day and like see it all come together, I'm like, okay, the work is so worth it, the outcome's so worth it. And I just see myself like sometimes I even surprise myself of like like handling situations. I'm like, I would have never been able to do that a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And like it's cool to see like if you're doing what the Lord has planned for you and like the way that he will bless you and like prep you for situations that you never thought you could like handle.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to like do an episode on at some point of just like kind of like crazy stories that kind of have happened on wedding days, because I feel like that's the question I get a lot of the time, and I feel like I never have a great answer, and then I'm like think about it later on and I'm like, oh, I should have said that, and then it's like, you know, it's just something that I like don't really think of. But I think if I had like a time to really think through some things, I would love to like share that at some point. But anyways, that's mine.
Love it. Mine also the flexibility. It's so nice to have that. And even though now I work for a nonprofit and it's a little bit more structured, we still have so much flexibility, which is super nice.
Right.
The travel I love, because with my job I get to go to Uganda a couple times a year and potentially other places as we expand our programs, and that's super fun. Also the relationships, the people that I've gotten to meet, especially around the world, like have just impacted my life in huge ways, and I get to like talk with people on the other side of the globe every single day, and that's so cool. And then lastly, and I feel like pretty obviously with my job, is just the impact, like to see people start businesses that are making a kingdom impact in their community is like the most rewarding thing.
It's so cool to see that, like, and I would love to come with you sometime.
I know. You have to, actually.
I was talking about that with my community group the other day, because our church just did a like Sunday missions like, kind of thing, and it was like just trying to figure out your role in missions, because my role in missions used to be so different. Like I used to be able to just like, you know, we went on mission trips and things like that, and it was like not even a question, like it just easily happened for me, and that's something that's like kind of gotten harder, like with like not feeling as involved and not being able to just like pick up and go at all anytime. And so that's something that I'm trying to like figure out, is like what is my role in missions. And like I was like, I know my sister wants to come, like wants me to come with her so bad, and I would love to, but just trying to figure out like what that looks like.
Yeah, it's tough, because if the flights weren't so expensive, I would be like, just bring the boys, because they honestly would really thrive there. I mean, it's just outside time, and
Beckham would love that.
I know. Yeah, I feel like you would.
Unfortunately, he's not a free boy anymore in like in any airline. So
yeah, understood.
Yeah,
he would get a little sweaty, but he'd be fine.
Yeah.
So why don't we do our snaps and slaps? I had to think about that.
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Okay, yes, I actually do.
Okay.
So number one, my snap is that my Lexapro has been working. Okay, I have been a happy, joyful girl in the midst of so much transition, and I just am so thankful for that medication in my body.
Absolutely.
My slap is that I have 6 meetings today.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And it's feeling tiring. I don't know if you can tell, but I just feel like my energy levels are already... This is a more chaotic episode for us anyways, because Beck. He's here.
He wants to type on my computer, but I know that will mess something up with us if he does that. So, okay. What were you saying? So sorry.
I was saying, I don't know if you can tell, but my energy levels are just a little bit struggling today.
Oh. I can't tell.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, no, you're killing it. Thanks for fitting in camp chat in your
Yes,
busy
ma'am.
day.
Well, this is my favorite meeting I have today. Don't tell anyone else.
It is about to be live. Anyways, okay, my snap for the week is baby boy has a due date or a delivery date now. So that's exciting. We can a little bit plan more and just know when things are happening, which will be super helpful for my planner energy. I don't know if that's the right word, but a slap of the week is I have just there was one day this week where I just felt very low energy and kind of just sad, and I didn't really have a reason for it, but I just felt I think it was just rainy and kind of gross outside, and
It was also probably, as Dad would say, the hormones.
yes, right, blaming everything on the hormones.
Hormones.
Yeah. So that was kind of a slap, but I feel better the last couple of days, I think, because the sunshine came back out.
Yeah, super fair.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, this episode I probably will get out sometime next week since we've already had one released this week.
Yeah, we can't give people too much.
No, you guys, we can't, we gotta keep the bar low.
Right.
Where it belongs.
Right.
We can't have you guys begging for more too much.
No.
Which, everyone's been begging for more.
Yeah. No, I feel it's been good, though, because I feel the minimal editing has really been kept in the pressure.
So nice. We've been on this free trial of Riverside, and I'm about to cancel it because, like we said, we ain't spending money on this little shindig right now. And so I don't know what is going to happen when I go to the not premium version of Riverside, but right now I'm loving it because I basically, I don't have to do any editing. I can just, get done recording, which we don't do any editing to these podcasts because we need you guys to hear the unfiltered and because we don't want to take the time. And I just pop the intro and outro in, and that's it. It's so easy.
Yeah.
And I love that. So shout out to Riverside. I
feel for our thumbnail of this week, it should be headshots from our jobs.
Yeah. Except for my more baddie photo shoots were with Ember Designs. So should I just pull out one of those?
Yeah.
So I look more baddie,
yeah. Because this episode is about being a baddie.
Yeah, this episode is about being a baddie. Which, speaking of, all you baddies listening need to be... I kind of like baddies more than babies.
I know. Maybe we should change it.
I think it's officially going to have to be changed. The babies was kind of funny, though. But baddies just fits more. So, listen. Here's what your job is, baddies of the world. Oh, 1 second. Bebek's having his moment of sadness. Hey, Bebek.
He wants this pole.
You can have.
Oh, the Cheez-Its crunching into my rug. It's not giving me a great vibe.
Okay, listen. Here's the CTA, the call to action for the baddies, is we want you guys to, on our Instagram post when we share this podcast, we want you to share what your job is, and also if you have any questions about our jobs, please ask.
You just finish. It's okay.
Uh-oh. A sad time. So yeah, just if you guys have any questions about our jobs, but we just really want to hear what you guys do. So on our Instagram post, go and comment your snaps and slaps. We've been loving to see those. And then of course, we just ask that you would rate our show, but only 5 stars. Remember, this isn't that serious. We only accept 5 stars. If it's anything less, just don't do it. There's no need. And review it and share it with your people. We want to expand this sister gang. So, bring all your baddies to join the sister baddie group. Okay?
What is our next episode? Is it with the girls?
I think it's supposed to be with Kaylee and Kennedy.
Okay.
But we'll record that in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
So.
But we'll get this episode out next week and then that the following.
So just be looking forward to it. We're going to have our cousins, Kaylee and Kennedy, come on, and we are self-entitled the Kush Cousins. There's a story to that, and it doesn't involve drugs. But just prepare for the Kush Cousins episode. We basically are going to have them spill the tea of how we influenced their childhood, which, spoiler alert, we influenced it in some bizarre ways. Mm-hmm. Bizarre.
We
taught them about the world in a way that, honestly, I don't know how they didn't turn out weirder than they are. I mean, they're definitely weird. But I don't know how they didn't turn out weirder, because we really did a number on them.
Okay, we're about to hit an hour.
Okay, we love you guys. Bebek, can you say bye-bye?
Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say love you. Love. Say see you later. Oh, later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.